Captain.
You turned around, hands folded behind your back. Sergeant Sun?
Our troops are advancing as planned.
You smirked. I told you that my plans always work out, didn't I? The sergeant bowed before you. This skirmish had lasted for 30 minutes now. The mission was simple. You drop in with your squad in an alien-filled space station and take back control of the primary facilities. What you didn't expect was the sheer amount of green bastards firing their blasters at you and your units. At the moment you were still in your dropship, giving out commands to both your units in battle, but also the reinforcements you were ordering. Your PDA was connected to the facility's cameras. It allowed you to observe the alien menace and your own soldiers as they were battling it out. Your eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. Quickly you typed in commands into your PDA.
What's wrong?
They're actually pushing back. Angrily you grabbed one of your own blasters. That alien scum hasn't seen the last of me, you growled.
Captain, I have to remind you, if you die out there...
I won't.
Well, you better, because if you die, we lose and have to reset the game.
You blinked. Right. You almost forgot. You tended to have an overactive imagination. The pizzaplex was closed. Not because of fire, for once. And also not because of a police investigation, because a child was kidnapped or shoved into a suit. No, the pizzaplex was closed because today was maintenance day. It happened once a month. During this time, on-duty engineer Kevin, a lovely man in his 40s with a passion for machinery, the on-site mechanic, some lazy guy who spent most of the time in the employee lounge, seeing maintenance day as a free paycheck, and you, a day shift guard, all too eager to work specifically today. As the name implied, maintenance day was the day where every animatronic in the pizzaplex had a full routine checkup on both their endoskeletons and their shells. Cash-wise, for all employees chosen, it was just another day, but mentally, it wasn't. There were no screaming customers, no emergencies like a vomiting child. But also, most importantly, since there was no one around, you could play Phaser Blast for free, and without the fear of getting yelled at by your boss for wasting company time. So, after Freddy had finished his repairs, which luckily was just a simple adjustment to his eyes, and a new foot, you decided to spend some time with him. Thing was, he only really wanted to play Gator Golf. And when it came time for Phaser Blast, he retreated into one of his charging stations. But luckily, to your surprise, the daycare attendant had been there too. Apparently, someone left the door to the daycare open and he got curious. To prolong the game, you used a special power normal customers didn't have, and that was control over security bots. And a security tablet that let you see the cameras. However, it seemed as if the security bots weren't the tactile geniuses you expected them to be. After all, they weren't programmed to take cover, unlike the alien bots. It was fun though, and maybe you had gotten a little too into it. You returned your attention to your, sergeant. You forgot one thing. Dramatically, you took hold of your Phaser Blast helmet and put it on. I'm a human. Your gun in your right, your security tablet in your left, you're about to march into Phaser Blast when an idea came to you. Inside the attraction's lobby, you took a right into the armory.
It's very intelligent to stock up on ammunition, Dagard. However, it is against the rules to have more than one grenade. And more than 2 blasts. Why are you still taking more grenades?
All warfare is based on deception, you muttered as you marched through the battlefield. Turning to look behind yourself, you called out to Sun. Sun Tzu said that. A very intelligent Chinese guy.
Miss Dagard, I feel like that was a little insensitive,
responded the animatronic with concern. Gun and PDA in hand, for a sheer streak of luck, you had reached the front line of your invasion. You were ducking behind cover, your security bots bravely firing into the mass of alien bots. Moral fading, reported one of the machines. Initiating. No. You're not going back, you shouted at the robot. Calculated chance of victory. Pew. The robot went limp for a moment before quietly returning to the respawn area of Phaser Blast. He had just shot it in the head. Keep in mind, maggots, deserters will get shot. Sun gave you a disapproving look.
That was our own man.
Sun looked at you disapprovingly, but you were way into it to notice. Morality restored, said one of the robots affirmingly. However, despite your valiant efforts, you quickly realized that there were way too many alien bots for your slowly returning security bots to handle. It was effectively a stalemate, and you weren't about to lose it with some reckless move. You reached into your pocket. You had taken one of the Phaser Blast grenades from the armory. The way the grenades worked was that after being thrown, they let out a signal to surrounding players and bots, indicating damage while also playing an ambient explosion noise. However, just one wouldn't cut it. But for now it would allow you to get rid of a few of their blasters. So you could actually see what you needed to do. Fire in the hole! You shouted as the plastic ball flew over the aliens. Seconds later you watched as a handful of green-colored bots left for their nearby respawn. Picking over your cover, you were able to figure out your attack plan. Sun! You shouted. He was standing a few feet behind you, as he wasn't allowed to intervene. He looked at you. Come over here. You pointed at a place near you. He shrugged and followed your order. You grinned. Now it was time for the real test. As Sun positioned himself, you crawled over to him. The alien lasers firing behind reflected off of his shell.
Dagard, that's cheating. You're not allowed to use me as a shield,
complained the robot. Shush, I bumped my toe. Do you still have that first aid kit I gave you earlier? After we left the armory?
Oh, yeah, okay, here.
Sun reached for his belt. Almost too eagerly, you grabbed it. This was going to be fun. Earlier in the armory, you had emptied the first aid bag and filled with grenades. And you were about to go ham.
Dagard, are those... Dagard, I'm very disappointed in you.
You, meanwhile, grinned widely. Pressing the grenades against your chest, you stepped forward and rushed into the alien position, throwing grenades everywhere you could while laughing maniacally. Chaos erupted as many robots bumped into each other to reach the respawn. Yet still, you kept on throwing the plastic balls. And once you ran out, you pulled out your blaster, rushing into the alien bunker, single-handedly taking the flag. Total victory. Remember, son, all warfare is based.
I think you misremembered that quote, Miss Daygard.
A white grin was plastered on your face, and the robot sighed, gently patting you on the back.
I admit, I was upset at you for cheating earlier, but seeing you all happy like this, oh, that makes it worth it.
With a cheapish grin, you pushed against the animatronic. Aw, come on, son. I had so much fun. That's all that matters, right?
I have to remind you, if there had been customers involved, they would not see it that way. What do you want to do now?
Milkshake. I want a milkshake. Half an hour later, you sat down in the Roxy Raceway diner with Sun. Due to him being a large, heavy animatronic, he had pulled over a side table and used it as a makeshift stool. His feet were dangling from it.
So, Miss Daygard, I was wondering,
he asked before you could order. For a Fastplay employee, you were free to order whatever food you liked. You even got a 5% discount on it. While not the best discount, it was still a discount. And the employee loyalty program even rewarded returning your salary to the company over time through free novelty items. But of course, that was just a ploy so employees would give more of their hard-earned money back to their bosses. What is it? You asked.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that whenever we play games together, you fall into this rhythm of imagination.
You tilted your head. What do you mean?
I watched you play mini-golf. I'm sorry I was stalking on you. It just looked fun and boring at the same time. And well, according to you, what was meant to be a friendly game of Phaser Blast between security staff bots and alien staff bots, it turned into something I can only describe as war. And during mini-golf, you were very competitive, just like it was war. I think that's why Freddy didn't want to go to Phaser Blast with you. If you keep the series up for every game available in the Pizzaplex, I'm afraid you genuinely overexhaust yourself. I mean, imagine you participate in a Macer-sized activity. You would genuinely hurt yourself. But you also look so happy, and I feel like I'm overstepping my boundaries.
You blinked, feeling embarrassed, as the machine got serious.
It's just, you so rarely smile. I feel horrible, like I'm taking away something you love by bringing this up.
You forced a smile. Well, you certainly were surprised. And after a moment of silence, you puffed up your cheeks, finally figuring out the best way to talk about it. I had ambitions before I worked here. I wanted to become an artist. My entire life I had these grand things in my head, but never worked out. I spent many hours with my grandma, who herself was a talented oil painter, just drawing pictures. And then in middle school I joined the art club. They had clay furnaces. It was actually pretty cool making little sculptures. It's just, you know. Sun had an idea. And he made a choice that he couldn't have foreseen the consequences of. For your sake, to not make you feel bad, he'd continue the roleplay.
Now that we have won, Captain, we should celebrate!
You smiled softly, appreciating his attempt at cheering you up.
What would you like to do now?
You chuckled. Well, there are a few ideas I have. Leaning forward, you mused. Now, how do you think we should celebrate? I don't like where this is going. But Yori pulled out your security tablet, and moments later...
Wait, Miss Dagard, why did you shut down my safety programs? I don't want to hurt you.
I'll tell you after I'm done with my shake, Sergeant.
Oh, boy.
Your seductive tone didn't go over his head. You ordered your milkshake, and it soon arrived. And you didn't hesitate long before you pulled out an alcohol flask that you had been hiding in your breast pocket. The robot's fingers twitched with anxiety.
Miss Dagard, you're not allowed to drink on the job.
We won the war, didn't we? Now we celebrate. The robot blinked. Both of you knew you were going too far, but you had reached a point where that didn't matter anymore. You'd be fired either way if this ever got out. And so you allowed it.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's celebrate!
Drink with me. Whispering, you added, just imagine I pushed the same drink over to you. Accompanied with a little wink. As you began downing your milkshake, Sun pretended he was too. Humming and making the noise of gulping down liquid that he absolutely enjoyed. You slammed the soon empty glass down. Your left eye twitched slightly at the brain freeze and the alcohol. A single tear running down your cheek from the pain. Sun, meanwhile, was tilting his head.
I don't know how alcohol feels like.
You blushed a little, pulling out your tablet again. It kind of feels like... when I'm doing this? You mused as you turned up his emotions. This was normally used to calm him down when he was about to throw a fit, but having the option to crank it up always was a delight to watch.
Ooh! Ooh! Ooh!
Yeah, you feel it, Sergeant.
I feel it! I'm really feeling it! What next, Captain?
Bravely, you crawled on top of the table and whispered next to his face. Next, you come with me into the captain's quarters.
And do what?
You didn't reply. You just took the animatronic's hand and guided him into a nearby security office. It was special as it didn't have any security cameras, ironically. Inside, you pushed the robot against the wall.
Miss Dagard, I have a feeling that whatever we're doing, I would not allow if my safeties were on.
That's the point. Sunny. You hushed seductively as you pressed your lips onto his. It was unlike anything you ever did before. Both the stupidest idea ever, and at the same time, you didn't care either way. It was great, even if his lips tasted like painted plastic. You felt so naughty, because you were doing the one thing that was definitely in your contract you should not do.
Miss Dagard,
He moaned. The fact his reaction was programmed into him was a great sign, and it made you drool a little. So, How far can we go from here? You asked after popping off of his face. His eyes narrowing lustfully.
Miss Dagard, I'm programmed with a variety of massages. You just need to tell me where to rub.
You blushed hard in response. He knew exactly what you were thinking. And you liked that he knew what you were thinking. Let's fuck like there's no tomorrow, my dear Sergeant.
Oh, language, Captain. Language!
Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.
Special thank you to my lovely darling channel members Aruna, Chloe Rockenbow, Cherry Red Bunny, D's Nuts, Nicodemus D, Cat Cove, Kea Abyss, BitBit, Zings X3, Melofia, Lavender Cheese, Muffin, A Simp, Hella, Nexorist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful.